Hello guys, so we meet again with a new video lecture on PN junction diode. I hope you understood the previous one. If you have any doubts, you can just post in your comments. I would also like to remind you about the other video sections which we have currently, which is mathematics and engineering mechanics. So let us start with our today's topic, which is continuation of the PN junction diode. Now, in the earlier section, we had discussed about how the PN junction diode is created, what are the various effects which it has because of this junction which is created in it, and the various biasing methods, and also some of the characteristics of the PN junction diode. This video lecture will be continuation of the various further discussion in the characteristics of the PN junction diode. The first characteristics which we are going to see is my resistance. My PN junction diode is basically a non-linear device. That means that its characteristics does not have a straight line. It does not follow a straight line. As you have seen the characteristics in the previous lecture, wherein we had plotted the voltage and the current in various biasing modes, like in forward biasing and in reverse biasing. In either of the biasing, we had seen that the voltage and the current were not increasing in the linear field. So because of this non-linearity present in my diode, there will be different values of resistance which is present in different region of operation of the diode, depending on the operating point on and also of the application of the voltages. Like we can apply a DC voltage or a AC voltage. Depending on the voltages also, there will be a difference in the resistance level which is obtained from my diodes. This particular characteristics is also observed in other types of electronic devices. So let us see the different types of resistance level which can be obtained for different voltage which is going to be applied to the PN junction diode. So the first type of resistance is my DC or a static resistance. Just as the name suggests, it means that I have applied a DC voltage and my operating point is basically because of this DC voltage, and I have to find what is going to be the resistance which is because of this. So let us recollect the characteristics of my diode. So we have shown the characteristics of my diode, which is this becomes my forward biasing characteristics, and this is representing my reverse biasing characteristics. Now, as the name suggests that we are studying about the DC static resistance, we are applying some DC voltage to my PN junction diode. So let us say I have applied a value V1, and for this corresponding value I am getting a current which is I1. So by definition of resistance, my resistance will be given by V1 by I1. So for a single DC voltage, I will be getting a corresponding current which is going to be flowing through this device. That will be given, the resistance for this particular case will be given by R is equal to V1 by I1. The resistance which will be calculated in this fashion is called as my DC or a static resistance. So as you can see, depending on what is my operating point, as my voltage increases, my current will accordingly increase, and so will be my changes in the resistance which will be observed. This resistance which I have stated over here, that is my DC resistance, is denoted by RD. The voltage which is being calculated is my VD and my ID. So this becomes my basic formula for a DC or a static resistance for a diode. In this figure, I have represented different values of voltage which are applied to my diode and the corresponding currents which will be flowing through the diode. So over here, my 0.85 is that voltage which is going to be greater than the knee voltage. I have considered this characteristics for a silicon diode. So my knee voltage for a silicon diode is of value 0.7. So it is more than that 0.7. So my diode is basically in the forward conduction mode. For that corresponding resistance which I will be getting is 0.85 divided by 25 milliamperes. 0.85 divided by 25 milliamperes which will lead me to a resistance value of 34 ohms. Now 0.5 is a voltage which is lesser than the knee voltage. The knee voltage is basically that voltage at which my diode is totally into the forward biasing mode. So this 0.5 is that voltage at which the diode has not entered into the forward biasing mode, it is just entering into it. At that particular, the resistance value comes out to be 250. For the voltages which are going to be greater than 0.7, that is greater than the knee voltages, the resistance value will be much lesser compared to that before the knee voltage. Now as you go into the reverse biasing mode, now in reverse biasing mode there is a very small amount of current which is flowing through the diode. So for a voltage of minus 10 volt, I am getting a current of minus 1 microamperes. So minus 1 basically means it denotes that it is in my reverse biasing mode. So for that my resistance value will be of 10 by 1 micro, which gives me a very big resistance value of 10 mega ohms. So which is quite obvious, because in reverse biasing mode the current which is flowing through the diode is very small. So next type of resistance which is being defined is a AC resistance or a dynamic resistance. So as the name suggests, in this particular, while calculating this particular resistance, we are going to apply a AC voltage to my diode. While considering the definition of this resistance, we are assuming that the signal which is applied has a smaller magnitude in nature. So while defining, we are defining something which is called as a Q point. So this is basically the operating point, or it is also the DC point of the diode. So this point is basically a design point for about which my AC voltage is going to vary in the diode. This Q point is derived from the word quiescent, which means a stationary point or a stable point. So we are varying about this Q, my AC voltage. So for a change in my voltage, I will be getting a similar corresponding change in my current through the diode. So this change in my voltage and current will help me to define my resistance, which is my AC resistance, which is denoted by a small rd and which is given by delta Vd upon delta Id. While I was defining this resistance, I had said that the AC voltage which is being applied should have a small magnitude. That means that this change should be small in nature. Because of this assumption, that is why my AC dynamic resistance is defined as the slope of the characteristics at the point Q. So that is why mathematically this can be written as 1 by derivative of the current with respect to voltage at the point Q, so which gives me the slope of the tangent at point Q. If we consider the calculation of my dynamic resistance in these two regions, that is, this one is in my forward region and this one is just before the knee voltage region. So in that particular calculation, I can see that my RD, that is my dynamic resistance, for this region, that is Q1, which is in my forward region, I will get the value as 2 ohms. And for this region, that is before the knee voltage region, I will be getting a value of 27.5 ohms. Next, we are considering the mathematical analysis of the calculation for my dynamic resistance. We have already seen the current which is going to be flowing through the diode in the forward conduction mode. So this represents that equation, that is ID is equal to IS, where IS is my reverse saturation current into e raised to Vd by nVt minus 1. Next, I will be taking a derivative of this particular current with respect to my voltage across the diode. So I will get this as 1 by nVt into Is e raised to Vd upon nVt. Now if I consider this equation again, I just open the brackets, I see that Id plus Is is basically this factor. So I am substituting that over here. But in this, my ID value is going to be more than that of the IS. As we can recollect that saturation current has a value in the ranges of nano and microamperes, and while in the case of my ID, while in the case of my ID, the value is in the ranges of milliamperes. So I can just approximate this particular relation with 1 upon NVT into ID. From this, my RD, which is my dynamic resistance, can be calculated by dVd upon dId, which is basically NVT upon ID. Now for a silicon diode, my Vt has a value of 26 millivolts and N is considered as 1. This gives me the relation for my dynamic resistance. I have to be very careful while applying this particular equation. This represents only that region which is beyond my knee voltage region. So it is beyond, for a silicon diode, it will be beyond a voltage of 0.7 volts. Only then will this particular equation be having any hold. While we were discussing our DC and AC resistance, we had completely ignored about two different other resistance which are present in my PN junction diode. These resistance which we have just seen, they are just representation of the junction resistance, that is the resistance which is because of the junction present in the PN junction diode. We had ignored about the other resistance which is called as the body resistance, which is because of the material of the PN junction diode which is present, that is a silicon material, the resistance because of that, and also which is called as a contact resistance. Now this contact resistance is because of the resistance which is present between the connection of the semiconductor device and the metallic contacts. So these resistance have to be incorporated for a detailed results to calculate the resistance of a PN junction diode. The third type of resistance which is defined for a PN junction diode is my average resistance. Now, as the name suggests, average means we are averaging out the resistance which are present at different points. So while calculating my average resistance, I can consider any 2 points on my characteristics and find their delta Vd, that is change in the voltage, for the corresponding change in my current. The average voltage then will be given by the ratio of my change in voltage upon my change in current. There is no condition in this particular change which was present in my AC analysis of resistance. So we are assuming that there is a large change in my voltage and we are calculating the corresponding change in my current, which is through the diode. The average resistance will be useful in calculating the equivalent circuit of a diode. So basically this average resistance encompasses all the characteristics which are present in my forward biasing mode. Thank you for watching our videos. If you have any doubts, please do share in the comment section. For information on us, you can go and look it in the about page. It will also give you the schedule of the videos which will be coming up in the month. Do like and share and subscribe our channel. This will help us make more videos like this on different topics. Do watch videos on other topics also. Thank you and keep learning.